Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be continuing on with our reloading functionality and being able to actually animate our weapon. So in between videos I did a couple of things that hopefully you did as well. If not, take some time to do that now. So I went into every single weapon and I set different sounds. I used the lower and the raise ones. I feel like that they sound better than the ones part of this pack that are actually called reload, but that's up to you. I actually changed the bullet spread on these ones a little bit. These only matter. Actually, you know what? It does matter on all the weapons. I was going to say it only matters on the hit scan ones, but it does matter on all of them. I set a reload time, and then I made sure that the magazine size and the current ammo were the same thing. So now if we enter the game, we pick up a weapon, all of these should shoot. Reload. Different sounds and everything. So yeah, you get the idea. One thing that I wanted to show off. So I remember in a previous video I talked about how when we sprint, we want to do something while we try to sprint while we're shooting. And I'm going to demonstrate that now. So there's no bullets coming out, but if you see if I'm running and shooting, the gun is pointed to the left, but it's still shooting straight. So that's one thing that we want to fix. So if we go into the player and we go underneath has a weapon, this is what we did before. We created that stop shooting function. So let's go ahead. I put some of these into categories. I think I made one called weapon. So we get the current weapon and we made that stop shooting function last time. Plug that in there and then plug that into play. Like such, and then I might just kind of reroute all this around and move it a little bit like that maybe. Okay, so now we stop shooting. So this might not be all the steps for it. It wasn't. Oh, I think I know why. Hold on one second here. So one other thing we need to do is we need to go into our action mappings in our player and actually add some more to this. So let's go ahead and start by copy pasting this. We want to add something on the released, just in general. But off of the start, I'm going to break this pin for now. So if we have a weapon, we want to do a couple of different checks. The first one is we're going to have to create a new variable for this and say is weapon fire loading. This is something that we're going to add later on. We'll do not, so we can go out of the true branch. This is going to allow us, so if you go in the game right now, oh, it might not work because I don't have this plugged in. It's not. Okay. So if you notice right now, we can shoot this weapon as fast as we can click, and the same thing goes with the sniper rifle, and the same thing goes for the grenade. We want these to have actual fire rates, so that this variable is going to be controlling that later on to make sure that we can't just spam shoot every single weapon. But then we want to check if we are sprinting. Is sprinting. If we are sprinting, then first thing we want to do is movement stopped, and then we can fire. If we're not sprinting, then we'll just fire. Then let's do, so when we release, this is mainly for automatic weapons that we hold down the trigger for. That's mainly what the stop shooting, what this is mainly for. This stop shooting, but we can just copy and paste that. I'll drag that underneath, and if we have a weapon, then we'll stop shooting. So stop shooting doesn't really do much of anything. It mostly just works for automatic weapons, our automatic weapon. But now if we hop into the game, this should work now. So if I'm sprinting and then I shoot, you can see how my gun faces back forward and my movement speed is reset to normal. All right, so now that is all fixed and well and good. So yeah, now what we can do is we can go into our character's animation blueprint. We can actually animate this. So let's go into our event graph, and we're going to want to create a couple more of these references here. So let's create one called pull down timer of type float, and we'll call one is reloading of a Boolean. Okay, and just like before with these other ones, we want to grab the player and we want to get that variable, the pull down timer. And we want to set that as the pull down timer here. If you remember, we created this pull down timer, we set it right here. Set this as a variable here, and then set that as the same variable here. I'm going to make this longer because I'm going to put both of these in the same comment box. Okay, so let's go ahead and also get we'll set is reloading, the one from here. Then we'll get the player again and get is reloading. Like that. Okay, so now we have those variables synced up from our player into our Anim blueprint. So now we can go back into our animation graph. And then, so we have weapon pose. So let's delete weapon pose from the output because we're gonna have to use this now. So let's go ahead and grab weapon pose like that. And we're gonna transform modify bone again. And we want to just do, is it rotation? Yeah. So we want to unexpose the scale. We will keep the translation and the rotation, but we're going to split both of them like that. So we get a node that looks like this. This is going to add like a local to component automatically. Okay, and then let's go ahead and grab a weapon pose again, and we want to blend poses by a bool, and then this is going to plug into a new cache pose, and we'll call this loadout pose. I'm just coming up with random names at this point, and then we'll have loadout pose be the output. So we're just going through an extra step here. We want this to plug into false. Over a little bit like that. And weapon pose is going to be true, correct. Then let's grab is reloading and say not reloading. Okay, so if we're not reloading, then we're just taking this essentially, which is what the animations that we've been using. But if we are reloading, then we want to transform and modify a bone. Our alpha value is going to be our pull down timer. So that 0.5 seconds from moving from 0 to 1 and then 1 back to 0. And we're going to translate in the y of 5. Let's rotate, roll, in the x 50. And that should be it. Oh, we actually have to, we want to do spine 1. So we're moving the whole thing downward. Is it still not like me? Oh, let's make sure we do add to existing for both of these. Is that the issue? That was the issue. Okay, cool. So now we can comment box this, and let's say moves mesh down while reloading. And it's going to keep it down there until our reloading timer runs out, which is dynamically set by us in the variable reload time. So that's what that is looking like. Now if we go in here and I grab my gun and I shoot it a couple times and I reload, moves it down, brings it back up, and I'm hitting R right now trying to reload. It's not doing that animation, it's not shooting. If I run out of ammo, it's doing it automatically. Bada bing. Here we go, that works perfect. So now we have a full reloading system in our game. It's doing all the math, it's animating, it's doing things automatically for us when we run out. It's not allowing us to shoot and aim, and well, we can't even aim in general right now, but it won't allow us to do certain stuff. Yeah, I don't see any issues with it right now. I think everything's working good. So yeah, in the next series of videos, we're going to keep on adding some more functionality to our weapons and customizing them and doing some cool stuff. So I hope to see you there.